I didn't have any turkey whatsoever.
Oh, what?
Nope.
No, neither did I.
Did Tommy bring his son?
Nope.
You're having it next weekend.
Yes.
It must not be too
Still
hard.
didn't have any this weekend.
You're, oh, actually, Mike's. Steve's,
Oh. Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, moved by Councillor McGinnis, second by Councillor Clark, that this meeting be open at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Next is the adoption of previous minutes. Our regular meeting, September 26th. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor McGinnis, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held September 26th, 2023 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interests? Presentations and delegations? None
None for this
session.
meeting.
Then we'll go to minutes and reports. Oops, I have to sign this. Minutes and reports from municipal committee and boards. Planning advisory,
we have not have a meeting. We're still awake.
fire department, September 25th.
Yeah, that was our last meeting, and our next one is October 23rd at 6 p.m.
Any comments or anything about your meetings?
No, they're doing a few public awareness things this coming weekend next week for Fire Prevention Week.
Recreation and fitness.
So our last meeting, we had September 11th, and our next one is October 16th at 5 p.m. Usually it's at 7, it's at 5 p.m. so that we can run our after-school programs. And we have a few events coming up. So we have the trade show, the business trade show this Saturday from 10 till 4 at the community center. And Renee's Halloween parade is October 28th at 6 p.m. And she's still accepting donations for candy.
So are we doing anything as a council?
Yeah, we should be in the parade. At least walk, if not anything else.
Well, I just wondered if we're going to put a float in or something.
I will be away.
Oh, of course.
Sure, I'm happy to help. And
Well, Humpy, I let you decide.
well,
What you
the
do.
rec guy's on the left. The rec guy's on the left.
I was planning on doing a float for camp, for
Right.
Red Park Camp, and have some staff and stuff like that. But I could maybe get somebody else to drive that truck.
I just thought maybe we could rent some costumes and just sit on one of the township trucks or something. It wouldn't take much. Wouldn't take a whole lot of decorating.
Oh, do you?
I'm a Halloween freak.
Oh, I'd have to hit you up for a costume.
We'll discuss.
We can, all of
See what
us
we can
come up
do.
with something.
Excellent. Willing participants, I guess,
Okay,
we'd all be right. So
all right.
Yep.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
Dan's gonna be Duck Dynasty with the beard he's growing. That's why he started.
Oh, he's gonna be the grandpa from Up.
I was in the parade once and I had that Oscar the Grouch outfit
With the trash can and everything.
with the garbage can and everything.
That's funny.
So next is library.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet.
No.
Oh,
Library.
are we gonna talk about the municipal
Alcohol.
alcohol policy? Is that coming forward for resolution to council? at
As
some
soon
point?
as we are done with the minutes, then the 3 motions will
Thank you
come
very
through and then
Then
that
we can
will be
ask
there.
questions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Library. Yes, we've had another meeting. Our meetings are very quick now, and we are going to resume. We are reviewing all of the policies currently. So we did a bunch of them in the spring, and now we're resuming reviewing the rest of the policies.
Thank you. No general government, nothing for police services, although there is a police recording here.
The OPP billing, yes.
And now we're to Public Works, Dan.
No meetings, but I would like to say that Development Road has been chip sealed and it turned out really well. So good job. And
Thank you.
good job.
We had some overage of gravel that we did tender. We were able to achieve the 4% crown with less gravel than first anticipated. So we chose to put the gravel on South Shore Road because the trucks were coming to us anyhow. So we were able to get that project done as well with the same amount of money. And we're starting Pine Lake tomorrow morning. And the winter sand is shadowing above us, started today.
Well done.
And by the looks of Powassan, we could have probably used it. They got snow on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, I
We-
hope they keep it.
Yeah. The one guy at work, his daughter built a snowman in his
Yeah.
yard.
Did
Oh,
it stay?
boy.
It didn't stay.
For the morning.
Long enough to build snowman.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. I'm
Yeah.
happy to hear that. I haven't heard any comments and I haven't been out on Development Road. I did go before, but I haven't been out since it's it has been completed, right?
Right, and we're very fortunate. We have a staff member that used to work for Duncor and Ruel. So he's very versed at how to do chip and tar. So he walked with me to ensure we've got proper seaming. We walked it all, picked out any stone, so it was well quality controlled as well.
Mm.
So it should turn out very nice by spring.
Very good.
Yeah, it was a big accomplishment.
Yes,
That's good.
We did it.
one more to go.
You have 3 motions coming out of
of here?
committees, yes.
Oh, yes. I'm Mr. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Clark. Whereas Recreation and Fitness Committee recommended to council that a donation of $200 be made to Renee Contant for the purchase of candies for the Halloween parade, and that the committee pay for the cost of mailing out flyer to all residents of the township. Be it hereby resolved, the council approves of this recommendation. All in favor? Carried. Okay, then I'll do the motion and I'll ask if anybody has any comment. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor McGinnis. Whereas the municipal alcohol policy was reviewed and updated by the Recreation Committee and the North Bay Perry Sound District Health Unit. And whereas the Recreation and Fitness Committee recommends to council to adopt the revised municipal alcohol policy, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation. Any questions or comments?
Just a couple of questions. And as I read through the policy, I found it very prescriptive still. And I'm wondering if some of what I'm going to ask is actually covered in provincial regulations or legislation, and why we would feel the need to repeat it if it is. So I'll just go through a few different questions. So regulation number 1, which restricts the space for special occasion permits to Caviscon Park, the tennis court, and the outdoor skating rink. I mean, there are provincial regulations about how and what would need to be established for a municipal or for an alcohol permit to be issued. So if somebody wanted to set up a large outdoor tent and create an area, I just find it very restrictive. Is there rationale for the restriction on it?
Part of it was because of the bodies of water. So part of it was trying to avoid the island and anywhere near the river, anywhere near the lake, and to use areas that mostly the health board, for the most part, felt that it was a little bit safer for bigger events.
The other issue was that where you serve alcohol must be contained.
Mhm.
And in our parks, those are the only two areas that are contained. So it was felt that those were the appropriate locations, that if we say had the tennis court, then fences and all of that stuff would have to be installed in order to serve alcohol in that area. So to eliminate a lot of rentals for whoever was using it, or for us, if we restricted alcohol to those two locations, then we wouldn't have to go through the fencing part and stuff like that.
Right, but this isn't just for us. So if somebody wanted to rent a tent and put up fencing, let's say in the soccer field for a really big event, this would absolutely not allow it.
No,
But they would be technically in compliance with all provincial regulations and rules if they were to do that. And it's just as far from any body of water. So again, I just wonder why we are adding extra layers of restrictions when the provincial government has that in place.
it's because of the containment area. Like
But
if they were
they're
to
paying-
install, pardon?
But if they wanted to pay, if I wanted to have an event and pay for it myself, it was all included, why would you restrict me from doing that?
That's the recommendations that we got from the health unit when we were discussing these options. It's also open for review. So if council wanted to add another location, then we would have to.
Could we not just simply say that must abide by all provincial legislation and regulations and have it covered that way? Only for the fact then, if regulations change and become more restrictive or what have you, we don't then need to change our bylaw again, because I feel like this is already covered. So I guess that's my,
Was also the opinion of the majority of the board members for the rec committee. And we're getting pushback. So our municipal alcohol policy was so restrictive that now that we updated it, it was kind of like change it a little bit, see how it goes for a period, and then you can revise it and change it again.
okay. Number 6A, so 30% of available alcohol consists of low alcohol drinks. Is 30% what is stated in provincial legislation?
I believe that's where they got that from.
So again, I mean, that would be already within the rules and regulations anybody with a permit would have to follow. So if it gets changed to 33%, our bylaw is now not in compliance with, or if it gets changed to, yeah, with provincial. So I don't know, again, I don't know why we feel the need to state it when it's already within the provincial legislation.
Our policy is to be reviewed yearly. This had missed a couple of years. So in reviewing it yearly, then when the province or legislation changes, we would include those changes in our policy.
It just seems like making more work.
Mhm.
It's just a
seems-
quick review. It didn't
Right.
take us long to send it off to the health unit. He reviewed it, sent us back the changes that we needed to make. We had one meeting and everything was done from there.
Yeah, I mean, my guess would be like any other bylaws, they come and go and we'll get stale with some dust because annual reviews are very burdensome on a small
Mhm.
staff like we have. So again, I would just err any time that it's so prescriptive from the province that we just say, of course, it has to follow all provincial legislations and regulations. 6B, so the variety of brands that need to be offered. So available alcohol includes a variety of brands of liquor and must be made available throughout the duration of the event. Of liquor and must be, yeah. The available alcohol includes a variety of brands of liquor. Is that provincial or are we just saying that? And the reason I ask is it's limiting sponsorship. So if an event wants to get Gateway Brewery as a sponsor and Bacardi, if they can't do that? Is that what I'm reading here?
What I can do is send an email to our contact at the health unit,
Sure.
and I can question those two and see
Yeah,
if they need to be
okay.
in there.
That'd be great. And then number 7, so roles and responsibilities. So obviously bartenders have a responsibility to check identification, but the way that this reads to me is they must check every identification. So if, let me pick on Donna. If Donna was to come and order a drink, she would be asked for identification because we're concerned that she's underage. Or can we, like, I'm just trying to figure out if that's the right language or if there needs to be check identification as appropriate, as warranted, as, I mean, the bartender, the whole purpose of having a smart serve, which they must have, and they must be able to prove to us within 2 weeks of the event or prior to 2 weeks of the event, is of course, the responsibilities of the bartenders.
Which number was that, sorry?
Number 7. So under bartenders, floor supervisors,
Okay.
door supervisors, and ticket sellers, they have to check identification, which of course, if it's warranted, if there's any question about somebody's age to be able to consume alcohol, for sure. I just don't know if that's too restrictive to everybody must have it checked every time.
I think what they usually like, what the Alcohol Gaming Commission usually likes, is that for events like this, like for one-off events, that everybody gets their ID check once, and they get wristbands or stamps or whatever the case is, to make it easy for everyone that's at the event to identify whether people are old enough to drink or not.
So if we have an event at the seniors housing is going to come down and we're running an event, we're going to ask them all to bring their ID because they might be under the age of 19.
Even some of the other events that I've ran or that I've worked at, they've wanted everybody to be ID'd once.
It could be a liability.
So I've been at it. I mean, I've been at a ton of events and I haven't had to show my ID in many, many years, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I don't know if that is a provincial restriction, then absolutely. But if not, it just seems like instantly people are going to be not in compliance with their bylaw. And are we setting them up for?
And what we must understand is this policy, when someone is going to use our facilities, if it's not in here, we shouldn't expect or assume that they know the provincial regulations. So by having them in here,
Unless we say that you have to follow, right?
Yes.
So we have to say that in here, that you need to follow the provincial guidelines, which should automatically send them over to the provincial.
It should.
guidelines.
but if it's in here, then and when they, in the rental agreement, it will state that this is what you must follow and you must read these. So the more details we can put in here, then they can't say, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think my only challenge back to that is I'm okay from, like, we will rent the facilities and where we need to put in the controls, we will, but we aren't offering them the liquor license, the province is. So they, in order to get their liquor license, have to read their regulations and legislation and sign off.
But
on
they
it.
also have to follow
And do
our
it.
policies.
No, but that's what I'm saying is now we're asking them, like, there's cross messages here so I'm just like, how about we just stick to rental facilities? And if they're gonna have liquor license, they have to follow the provincial regulations. And it's that simple in my mind. Like, I feel like we're reinventing the wheel here and it's just making it burdensome.
Why does the floor supervisor have to pick up empty cups?
This is all put out from the health board. So this was just to make sure that the area is nice and clean and that you're not
Well, you
leaving
could
extra
leave
drinks out.
something, and especially when there can be, you can have, if someone under the age 19 to drink, they can still come in as long as they're with an adult. So if they come in with an adult and people leave their drinks around there,
This says
Anybody can
empty.
drink it.
This says empty cup. So pick up empty cups. So
well,
this
sometimes
is-
they're not always empty, I think.
Yeah.
But that's not what this says.
No, I know, but I think an empty cup you can throw in the garbage, yeah, but some
I
people
don't know.
might
I
leave
think
their
that
drink
that's
there.
just so specific. That-
I
forest
like
supervisor.
it. I like the fact, and you really don't think it is so restrictive, and you think, is this absolutely necessary? And we ran into problems once before, and the alcohol was being served outside. People were walking freely with their drinks over where they were playing horseshoes. Next thing you know, it seemed like the volunteers had lost control. We had somebody charged with impaired driving out of our parking lot, and he happened to be a bus driver of all things. We ended up having a public meeting here, and it wasn't very nice. So I don't have a problem with the restrictions. If there's provincial legislation here, and there's our municipal alcohol policy, it is our policy. This is what we want to see, and this is what we want to happen. And that's, I'm in support of the municipal alcohol policy because it took quite a while to develop it. And I think it's a good thing.
So what trumps what though? So if this is so prescriptive, so it says here that under the policy regulations, the event sponsor must obtain a special occasion permit event from the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario and must show proof of this to the municipality as soon as the permit is received. But it doesn't give any kind of restriction there as like 2 weeks before we need to see it, like as soon as possible is not time, right? Like, is there, I think we need a time frame in there. Do we need it 2 weeks, a month before? Like, what is the timeline? And then it says, as the permit is received and before ordering the alcohol for the event. Who are we to tell people when to order their alcohol? That seems that's weird to me. And what if I have extra alcohol from my last party? Like,
You
Nope.
can't have that.
Can't do that.
You
Cross
cannot,
over.
you can only buy the alcohol for the event, and you
Okay.
can't bring in alcohol from anywhere.
and that is in the provincial
Mhm.
legislation, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so again, then we're pointing back to, and so do you have to show a receipt that you've just bought this alcohol? That's what should be in here.
you do have a list of all the alcohol you purchase. And there are special labels on the bottles that they're for sale, right? On the bottles, they
They don't do that anymore.
don't do that
But
anymore.
you do get your special occasions permit, and it's just like basically a printed sheet, and you have to staple your receipt to it. So if anybody comes in to cross-reference what you have in the fridge and what you're selling, it needs to be listed. on
Okay,
that
and
sheet.
then that receipt has a date on it.
Correct.
Okay, and what does it say that date has to be within whatever time frame? Like
No.
what is, no, so I could have bought my alcohol again 2 months ago, went for my special permit and
You
then
have to-
stapled.
No,
Yeah,
you
to
have
buy
to
your-
have the special permit to get your alcohol.
Oh, to the LCBO?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you get your special occasions permit, then you can buy your booze,
Okay,
and the receipt goes with the special occasion permit.
And I think all non-opened or unused has to be brought back within a day or so.
can be, right? Or does it have to be? Is
I
that,
believe it has to be. There's a timeline on there as well that you have to bring it back.
if you don't drink it, you have to take it back?
Whatever's not opened,
Mhm.
it has to be removed from the premises as well.
That for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. we don't
Yeah.
want it there.
So I'll just, again, I'll just come back to, I agree with you, your worship, that if we want to be more restrictive than the provincial legislation says, that is where our bylaw would come in to say we want enhanced, but it doesn't make sense to me to repeat what the provincial regulations say, because as soon as the provincial regulations change, it doesn't make sense. So if we want to restrict the areas, and I'll just go back to the park and the rink. If that's where we want to say, then, of course, that's, we go with the majority of council on that. And that is us further restricting what it would be provincial legislation by saying, as long as it's cordoned off area, as long as it meets all of these criterias, and that's up to us, and we can do that. But there's some of this which I have a feeling is just already embedded in provincial legislation that we're repeating in here. And that's the piece that I don't know why we would do that, because again, if provincial legislation changes or regulations change, we're now instantly out of date, and yes, it's gonna come back annually, but we all know annual is not really annually, so as much as we try. So I mean, I don't know how the rest of council feels, but I would, you know, I don't love it the way that it reads now, and I mean, I wasn't part of the committee, and I don't know if the committee is willing to go back and have further conversations about it and further refine it, or if council wants to send it back to committee, or just call the vote tonight.
I'd like to make it as user-friendly as possible, for sure, and that was part of our goal. I mean, this thing was like,
20 pages.
yeah, it was super, super long, and we got it down to about half. Some of these might be put in based on what other communities are doing, but like a lot of this was spearheaded from the health board, and we actually went through kind of line by line, and we were asking for some things to come out and not others, and he was recommending just to go with this for a time being because it was so restrictive before, and we've kind of opened it up a little bit so that we can kind of gauge how it goes, so that if we need to tighten it up, it's not a huge tighten up, and if we want to be able to kind of lessen it after a year or so, we can do that as well. So this was kind of like their idea of like a happy medium.
Sorry, whose idea was it?
Health board.
Did you look at any other policies?
They took the time to do a lot of that. As a committee, we didn't. We were looking for their recommendations on it.
And I have to agree with Jason that it is very restrictive. But sometimes you have to say something to people, not once, not twice, a few times. So to make sure that these are the rules and we have to follow them. But I don't know what you want to do. If you want to vote on it,
Well, here's the thing. I'm okay to vote on it tonight, but I definitely like the idea of it coming back. If what's being recommended by the health board is that we trial or that we lessen the restrictions of what we had. It doesn't go as far as I would like, but if this is just a step in that direction and we can see how it goes, then fair enough. Fair enough. But I'm hoping that within this term of council, we can take a new look at this and figure out if it continues to meet our needs or if we want to bring it back again. And, you know,
would you feel better if the health unit came to a council meeting? And not just explaining it to the recreation, maybe invite them to our council meeting to come back and explain the rationale for all of the statements. Would you be better with that?
Absolutely, because I think the dialogue. would be
Okay,
helpful.
This is the time to review it. If we're not 100% happy with this, because there's not going to be any outdoor events until summer. So we're not in a rush. Right, like if somebody was to rent a hall or to rent Lions Club, or this doesn't affect that, right? So this is specifically for our outdoor parks space.
yeah, our previous policy is still in place until we
Correct, yeah.
do this,
Right.
right?
But that's what I'm saying is nobody's renting the park
No,
in the winter.
We do have a
Right.
hockey. That big group that comes up from Toronto.
Which is okay, but if they're already using the rink, they're not gonna be drinking there. They're gonna use
They've
the
never
tennis court.
asked for a special occasion.
And if they did it, they'd have to use the tennis court anyways,
Yeah.
because there's ice on the rink. so.
And the soccer field is fenced in completely except for the front.
Right, and that's my point, like with
And-
some rental of fences, you all of a sudden have a very big venue there that can
Yeah,
accommodate it.
Yeah, just at the beginning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like, so you're only renting a little bit of fence to, all of a sudden that would be in compliance with provincial
And
legislation.
We were pushing for the
Yeah,
soccer.
I mean,
field. I remember looking at that a
Yeah.
bunch.
I mean, I think it's a good idea to bring the health unit in and then
Mhm.
Jason can
Yeah.
pose these questions right to them.
so then I'm going to defer it, right?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still sign it, right?
Yep, you just put deferred, ask for a vote, or, sorry. Just sign it and put it as deferred.
Yeah,
Excellent. Thank you.
okay.
And you should have one more motion, I believe, for recreation.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, second by Counselor Featherstone. Whereas the Recreation and Fitness Committee recommended to council to accept Mark Boncor's resignation from the committee, and that a letter be sent thanking him for his services, and that advertising be placed on the website for members to sit on the committee. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation. All in favor? Carried.
And just for clarity, staff will write the letter and you'll sign it, your worship. That letter will come from you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Andre will do it.
Have you been practicing her signature?
My
Excellent.
secretary. Okay, where are we next? All right, reports from non-municipal committees and board. Phenom. I see that they have sent us the information on their
The conference.
conference in May.
Yes. So there'll be an agenda or an item later under information correspondence.
Conservation Authority, did everybody look at the full
At the
report?
600-page report.
Those were
Just
the
a
latest
minute.
minutes
Yeah.
available on their website. I didn't get the last ones.
No, and I've requested them twice because the last meeting, I wasn't at the last meeting. And we requested them twice and I haven't heard back at all, but
Okay.
we have another meeting coming up next week, October 25th. So I can request them again in person.
Old Castle Home, nothing. Bonfield Nonprofit Seniors Housing,
Yeah, we have not met since the open house. So I think phase 2 is ticking along.
I saw a picture on Facebook. Very nice colorful,
Mhm.
colored picture of the units. They do look really nice and good comments about it. So no notice of motion, no introduction of bylaw and disbursement. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Corbett, that council approve the general accounts for the township of Bonfield as indicated in the disbursement report dated October 10th, 2023, in the amount of $808,669.26.
You almost choked on that.
All in favor? I hope that's for all our construction included in there.
Almost, yes.
Would it be, your worship, can I ask a question? Would it be helpful in these resolutions, or perhaps it would help me, if there was an additional piece that said, for all of which fall within the previously approved budget of council? So we're accepting the disbursements, and there's an extra layer of protection from a council perspective to know that all of the expenses were already accounted for within the budget, and we're not going outside of the budget. Because the problem that we can get into is we approve the disbursements, approve the disbursements, approve the disbursements, and then we get to the end and we're over budget, and they go, but you approved all the disbursements. And I'm not saying staff would do that on purpose, so please don't take offense to that. I'm just wondering if we could have that extra layer from,
If there was an item in there that had not been included in the budget, conversations would have happened before those disbursements being paid out. So that council would be aware of an issue that may have arisen outside of the budget. And
Sometimes it's not that way though,
Our
where,
procurement policy states that we are to
yeah,
ask permission from council to spend any monies outside of the budget.
outside of the budget.
yes. So I can remember one time where we approved something, it went over budget, but it never came back to council. So I think this is good protection for us, right?
I can include that wording.
Okay,
I would just feel better to know that what we're approving has in fact been included in the budget.
okay. Did you want to include it on this one?
No, that's okay. We've done enough in the past. We've already passed this one. I brought it up after. Moving forward, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did we
vote
vote on that?
We did.
No.
Oh, no.
we
I just
No,
have
we
a
didn't.
question. If an item did happen to come up that was not in the budget,
Yes.
but council approved or the CAO approved, then that wording would not.
So then it could maybe be as listed in the, or as accounted for in the budget or previously approved by council.
Okay.
Something to that effect. Like, I'm not trying to be restrictive. I'm just
No,
trying
no,
to add.
I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that I don't put that wording in there and an item was not approved in the budget, but council did approve
Right.
through discussion or a
Yeah.
previous meeting or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I
and
just,
that's fair. for
Okay.
sure. Because if I was a constituent looking at $808,669, and I do that times like 12, I'm going,
It's 20,
holy smokers, that's a lot, right?
2 times a month.
2 times a month.
And I mean, we get
the
the breakdown, so we kind of know what it's all about.
Right.
But yes.
just from a peace of mind for our constituents as well, that, yeah.
Like 430 some thousand was billed for Development Road in
Right.
those disbursements.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, which was all budgeted for and previously approved by council. So that's,
Yeah, no,
So I understand.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, now we're to the correspondence. We do have a resolution of support. I sure do support this.
Mhm.
It's the town of Minden, catch and release justice in Ontario. Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Featherstone. Whereas the town of Midland sent a letter to the federal and provincial governments requesting meaningful improvements to the current state of catch and release justice in the Ontario legal system. And whereas police services across Ontario are exhausting precious time and resources having to manage the repeated arrests of the same offenders, which in turn is impacting their morale and ultimately law-abiding citizens who are paying the often significant financial and emotional toll of this broken system. Therefore, the Township of Bonfield supports the town of Midland and that this resolution be sent to other municipalities throughout Ontario for their endorsement consideration. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the Remembrance Day for East Ferris. Our Remembrance Day is Thursday, right?
yes,
And this one is
on Friday.
Friday the 10th.
Yes.
And also, we will be, or I will be attending calendar on the
Calendar on
11th.
Saturday.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Corbett, that Council of the Township of Bonfield accepts the municipality of East Ferris invitation to attend their Remembrance Day ceremony on Friday, November the 10th, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. and that all expenses be paid accordingly. We are supposed to let them know if
Yes.
we're going.
Mhm.
Is there anyone here that? It's Friday the 10th. Ours is the 9th.
Yeah, I won't be here.
I will try to go.
I will try to go, but I'm gonna make ours a priority, so.
I will.
Okay, I'll let them know that one person at least will be attending
Yeah,
and then whoever's available.
yes.
Okay.
I am for sure that we're invited from our neighbors, so someone should go there.
Okay.
All in favor? Carrying. Hope it's not snowing or anything.
Been in lots of those.
The next one is the Phenom Conference, May 6th to the 8th in Sudbury. Do we have to do anything right now, just for information?
Eventually we'll have to register. There's always an early bird and hotel reservations that,
Well, I would like to go to
It's in Sudbury, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Sudbury.
I know council at the last meeting discussed who was going to go and who didn't want to go. So if you want, are there names on there?
It says that all members be approved to attend the 2024 Phenom Conference in Sudbury, May 6th to May 8th, and that all expenses be paid accordingly.
So if
So
council
maybe-
becomes aware of their schedule, then they could let me know who wants to go and then we'll just register them as,
Yeah, because I don't like staying way far away from the conference if we
Mhm.
can get right in the building.
okay,
Yeah,
I'll keep
okay.
an eye on when the,
You can probably register myself.
okay,
It's actually a really good way to do that resolution, Andre, and then it just doesn't restrict you to,
yes,
yeah, if somebody last minute can go,
Mhm.
not last minute or later.
yeah,
It's a smart way to do those resolutions.
If you register after, you're gonna have to be like London, you're gonna have to go 20 minutes to get to the
I'll just
hotel.
stay, I'll stay in
That was-
Bonfield and travel.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried.
Be one heck of an Uber ride.
Yeah, I know. That was crazy.
Did everybody read the park bench sponsor? Okay. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Corbett. Whereas the Savage LaPlante family would like to sponsor a park bench in honor of Lucette Savage, be it hereby resolved that council approves their request and that option 1, the bench and plaque and flowers be supplied by the family at the Matthew Menard Memorial Site. Option 2, the plaque and flowers be supplied by the family for a bench in Cabaston Park. Is that, we're leaving that up to them?
no, we're leaving that up to council. For those who don't know, Matthew Menard Memorial is right here at the caboose. The other option, we already have benches installed throughout the parks. So one of them would be designated to them. They would put a plaque and almost all benches have flower beds, right?
All of them, yes.
So they would look after the flowers every year.
They don't have a preference,
They would prefer there.
well,
Wherever
they prefer. That's my thoughts. I have no issue with that.
So if we choose Matthew Menard's memorial, then they would supply the bench and the flowers and look after putting a plaque on it in memory of Lucette. And
They
That
would
would be-
prefer that would, and that's a question I'm asking. The Menards would,
the Menards have approved it, yes.
they have approved
Yeah.
it. Well, I would like to support what they're asking, and if that's what they're asking for and that's what they would like, they would prefer, I would support option 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we will say that option 1.
Okay, so
The
just put an
bench and
X. and-
plaque
Yeah,
and flowers be supplied by the family at the Matthew Menard Memorial Site. Now circle it, okay?
okay,
All in favor? Carried. Okay, there's next, just for information, we have the 2024 OPP annual billing letter. I have a question. Why is there nowhere in there 2023?
this is a 2024,
Yeah.
so
and-
it's coming up in our budget for
but
next
we have
year.
19, 20, 21, 22, 24. I
Because
just
it's not
wondered
open.
why it's not in there.
Because it's not been statistically added up yet as the year isn't over.
Oh, thank you, because I didn't have a chance to read the document and, but this is basically to advise council of what the 2024 budget for OPP will look
And-
like.
I figured that much, but then I didn't know Because when you come to.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Right, so the year's not over yet, so they can't provide us the stats until next year. And they bill according to last year's stats,
The full year.
right,
Yeah.
Okay,
which is interesting, actually, that document.
there's something.
Including October.
And the number of calls do have an impact on
Yes.
our yearly
Yeah.
billing.
Should we look at billing individuals?
Should.
Well, they say the 2024 estimated cost, and it goes that amount, and then it says 2022 year-end adjustment. And then it shows the total billing for 2024. There's nowhere in there is that there's an adjustment for 2023.
It's kind of like when you have a mortgage at the bank and your taxes are in there. So they guess how much you're gonna pay your taxes with, right? And then you pay the taxes for that year. Then the next year, your taxes may go up or down, so they do an adjustment. So the following year, it would be more or less due to the adjustment on what we paid to the OPP. I just happened to be here one night when they gave us a big,
Oh.
they gave a
Yeah, I
big
just-
presentation about the billing system for OPP. So
But
they
they're
bill us,
showing an amendment for 2022. 2022, when you adjust the taxes, it's based on that. But this is, we've spent
Mhm,
almost 10 months of the year.
yeah,
So you're not estimating then. It's going
No.
to come out to pretty close
yeah. So they
the
just
the amount
adjust
that
for
they've
that.
charged us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen 23 anyway.
it.
Okay, that
Next
was for
year.
information only anyway. And resolution of support for the town of Wasaga Beach illegal car rally. Any support for that?
Does council wish me to bring it back?
Well, it's a problem. They've been struggling for a few years now with this. This could happen anywhere though, right?
Okay, bring it back. We'll do it. And then the other one is the DSAB CAO resignation. I guess that's only for information.
Information.
And then the next one is the Fixing Long-Term Care Amendment Act. Is that, we'll ask for a motion next week for our next council for it?
We can support it. She was basically asking for an in-person meeting to discuss this further. We can try and arrange that or see if there's a motion that she would like us to support.
MPP Fife would like to come.
It says here at your convenience, an in-person meeting.
Sure, and then we can get an MPP to come to our meeting. Let's do it.
Okay.
I mean, if you'd like to welcome the MPP into our meeting, of course, but
I mean, I support this
Yeah, of
completely.
course.
Yeah, I'd
So,
support
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
do we,
We'd all support it. So if,
yeah,
say for coming all the way up here, we could support it.
Okay,
and if she'd like to come and make a presentation anyways.
yeah.
not a minute.
okay. I will be in contact with her.
Okay. The next one is new business, and that's a report from the deputy clerk treasurer. LCBO bottle return was $600 and some, right? That was just a report.
Yeah.
I was asked to bring this report to council for their information.
Okay. Yeah,
How much do we get a bottle back? Like, how many bottles would this equate to?
6,000, it's 10 cents,
Is it 10 cents bottles or
Yeah.
6,000?
What about with like liquor bottles? They're
10
25
cents, I think. as
They're
well, no?
25 cents.
Oh. We don't take any liquor. They
What?
kind of go to the glass.
No, that's
Lots of
continuation.
liquor.
though.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
that's what-
most of ours is beer though, or canned coolers and
So that seems kind of low.
well,
Is
during
this from-
COVID, we got back 1,000.
So this is from March 21st to now?
Mhm,
And what, was there something we didn't calculate previous?
right. And we don't purposely pick either. If you know what I mean, like pick out of the bin, pick out of the plastic and cans, pick. That's what people place.
But we also have to understand, a lot of people bring their returns back themselves.
Oh, yeah.
At
So-
10 cents a bottle, yes.
I did.
Yeah. So it's not just,
Do you collect
I donate.
at your, did you,
I
do-
donate them right to the land.
at your
So do I.
municipality though?
Oh, yes, we collect.
What's the numbers at your municipality? I don't know, is it the,
They're quite a bit more.
like 10% more?
Do you have a
Twice as
return,
much?
please?
Yeah, we have a little shed that people put their bottles right in their shed. And I mean, we're $400 to $600 every couple of months.
So you're in the thousands?
Yes,
Like 2,000-3,000?
yeah.
So we have room
For the year,
improvement is what
yeah,
we're
for the year, we're pretty close to 5.
Wow, okay.
Because we thought about it, actually, we were just talking about it the other day, inviting the beer store to come pick it up themselves.
Would they do that though?
They might. They come out here for really the pots, like they only go to red and white.
and I think the Legion also, I
In
don't know.
calendar.
Yeah, I don't know if they pick up.
And the Lions Club also in our area collects.
I wonder if we could do a better job at making sure that people know where they go. Like, I know that there's the little separate tote that goes there, but I wonder if we advertise and said that it goes towards recreation programming within the
Yes.
community and so
Yes.
that, and just make it
Like a
easier for the
donation.
people know, oh, I know where my bottles go, right? It's
Because
just-
in the future, none can be placed in. the
Right.
Correct.
So I mean,
Yeah.
we should be capitalizing on
Yeah.
it for, I mean, it all goes to the youth of
Right.
the township.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
we
we do
have all
have
those,
us fairly, we, like, I know the Lions Club also does, they do pickups.
yeah, but I
for
mean, these
people.
people are coming to the landfill, like, I mean, I know when I go with my empties, they're there.
I think Jason, this is all Jason.
But anyways, I mean,
But
we have
that's,
that empty van body or whatever that's not being utilized for much. I mean,
Yeah, we use it for wood and now we use it for Camp Caratu aluminum as
mm,
well.
Well, anywho, if we can figure out a system to make it more prevalent.
Bring it
when
to the
they're
next
there.
Public Works meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know people fill the bags and take them for Camp Carrot. Usually that's pop cans and beer cans, right?
I don't know about beer cans, and honestly, I just heard recently, like this week, that the Lions Club also does a
They do the bottle
bottle
drive.
drive
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
within the
I,
community.
I'm not trying to take anything away from the Lions
No,
Club or
no.
anything. I'm just thinking if somebody's coming with a bottle anyways, that's either gonna be tossed into the glass container or put it where, then great. Like,
right.
Mm.
No, I mean,
And we may not see an increase anyways, like
oh,
that much. Like, I know I don't take mine to the landfill site.
I don't
I,
even drink.
well, when I do.
Well,
have
there's that,
parties,
eh?
but,
Yeah.
You
Your
know,
one
it's a
bottle
lot
a
of
year.
people, yeah, a lot of people just do their own recycling and bring them to get the
yeah,
cash
I do
back.
see a lot though. I mean, there's a
There's
lot
lots in the
of,
recycling itself.
right, I
Yes.
mean, but
I did see one of the workers picking it out
Yeah.
one day, so there was.
Mostly
one.
it's all in, like the glass bin is almost all liquor.
I mean, and we should try and catch, we have to catch that, so we
We
might as
do
well start
have to,
now.
Mhm.
yes.
We might as well catch it now.
And do it in a
because-
positive way. They were
Right.
not again, like, let's just.
Yeah, yeah.
encourage
Spin
it.
it
That's why we did
it's-
say,
Yeah.
It's going to the rec, I mean, it's going to the kids.
Mhm.
of the
it'd be nice
community.
if it was not mixed and dropped in.
Well, I think maybe we
Right.
should almost look at getting a separate little
Yeah.
shed. Spend that $600 to buy a little shed so we can actually place all empties, liquor, beer, wine in that shed.
Mhm.
And then it's totally away from recycling. We have to do this anyway, so
Who takes it back? huh?
We do,
You do.
yeah, we take it to the Legion and Calendar, Lions.
Mhm.
you
Legion.
take it there, why not red and white, got?
Not always are they able to accommodate us when we drop it. They can't.
They don't accept it here, right?
They do,
They do?
they do, but not every time that we take it there, they can.
It's too
like,
much.
Right,
yeah.
And Jerry's takes them as well.
right. Yes.
Okay,
Gagne's.
the flow chart.
This looks like rumba lessons.
Well, I'm tired of those bottles.
If you don't bring your empties, that's how you dance out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have a comment. This is, I was there on Saturday. The flow is much better. But why don't we, even if someone doesn't have recycling, should we just make the flow like that? Like, why do that?
Yeah.
Well,
I
why don't
agree.
we just do this?
So you must drive around?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Regardless?
let's-
Regardless.
Yes,
Just
yes.
send
Because we thought
everybody-
about putting a do not enter
Yes, I
on this
agree.
end,
On that end?
right? So you can't come back in this way.
Well,
and
you
go to
definitely can't
recycling.
come back in that way.
Right.
But what's happening is people are, so I think people are from the landfill coming out and then stopping at recycling and putting there. So they're doing landfill first and then recycling. Where if we did this way, everybody would do recycling
Recycling,
and then
then
landfill and then.
90% of the people do that way.
No, there's the, every time
No,
I'm
but I
there,
mean,
there's always somebody on the other
There's
side.
that, yeah, there's always one, or
It's not.
but I mean, I agree. I think we should keep it one way.
Yeah, one way. I think
Recycling
nice,
and then landfill and then out.
Yeah, it's flowing well, though.
Yeah,
There's
There's always a
room.
couple that.
Yeah, it's looking really good. It
And
was,
on
a-
that
it
note-
was a good landfill day.
It was a great landfill.
Yeah.
It was
I was
very
there on
busy last
Saturday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
I was there on
Because we're
Saturday.
closed. but-
I'll just say I was there on Saturday. And the person who was working the recycling area was super great. So was helping people. He answered some questions for somebody who had questions where things went. He gently and politely corrected somebody who was getting it wrong. I walked away one happy person coming out of that
So,
landfill
I
going,
think you were there, Councilor Cole was there around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I went at 3:30 and yes, they were still out work.
yeah,
still
I was
out
there at
directing.
noonish.
It was good.
And he was out in the
Yes.
We
recycling.
had
whoever
to
that
push
staff
cardboard
person-
actually Saturday.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
so whoever
I
that
think
staff
Isabel.
person was, just,
Yeah.
We're hiring somebody to fill the,
Vacancy.
right.
So are
tomorrow
we
morning.
calling someone in at overtime to do that?
No, we use a casual person that day, so it's not overtime.
And is there like a call in, like a 4-hour call in?
3.
And Wednesdays is going well.
60 people, 70 the last few Wednesdays until the Wednesday just passed. But we were closed Saturday.
Right.
So I don't know if that opportunity allowed people, unfortunately, to go to the gate and see it's closed. However, that gate had a sign on it that says we're open Wednesdays 4 to 7.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if that extra sign
Mhm.
educated the public more to know that it is open on Wednesday evenings.
Do
So
we
not everyone
have,
here has
a
internet.
newsletter coming out soon? That people know as well?
Next one is probably Christmas.
No. Did we have a fall one?
No,
I thought we were doing one for Halloween. Didn't we
No,
just
it's-
Pass a motion saying
that's,
that,
That's just
that's
a
strictly
flyer.
the Halloween flyer.
is there no space on that?
Mm,
Two-sided?
No, it is already two-sided.
Yeah, there's that.
Did you put the sign on the landfill shaft?
Yes, I did.
Thank you, because
So the
it's
landfill
closed
is
again
closed
November
November
11th.
11th.
Yeah. yeah,
So,
give
I mean-
people Lots of notice, good.
Yes, I guess that we should be doing handouts a couple weeks before
Yeah.
saying
Right, and then,
closed on this date.
yes,
This-
unfortunately, because it's like just the second year we've ever had the holiday.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this year, all those,
On
I
Saturday.
don't want to call them stats, but they're kind of not, but they're like government holiday. I don't want to say that either, but it's a holiday that not everyone celebrates with a day off of work. So it's hard to identify those. And it's just unfortunately this year, all of them land on a Saturday. So your Remembrance Day, Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Well, it's a good
Anyways,
thing
we
we're
did
open
put a
Wednesdays.
sign out already that it's closed on November 11th.
Yes.
It's on the outside of
Okay.
the building.
Well, even the attendant could verbally say
Yes,
it when you
just as
swipe
a
in your
reminder.
card, instead of even if you don't give handouts, hey, just a reminder, we're closed
It was
November
on the
11th.
11th.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The gentleman that came in with the bins, what did he take away? Did he take away garbage?
I'm not privy to any of that conversation.
Hmm?
I'm not, I don't know.
Does anybody know? It's our landfill site. Somebody should know.
He wasn't on our landfill site.
No, he wasn't in our landfill
He
site,
wasn't in our,
He wasn't at our landfill site?
he might have
not
been
inside
there.
of it, no,
Wasn't on our property.
no.
So whatever was done as a private citizen, right?
And I mean, I guess we shouldn't be taking social media into.
No, but I, I have to know something, like what happened out there, because our landfill site, according to our, or at least it used to be, we couldn't take garbage from any other municipality.
Oh, it's still
That's
that
correct.
way.
Yes,
Okay. But our garbage can go to somebody else's.
the city of North Bay will take anyone's garbage, is what I've been told.
You have to pay though, right?
You have to
Right.
pay, but they're not accepting, because their landfill has 16 years left, so
Hmm.
they're not taking. You gotta be pretty specific where it's coming from now.
Mm,
So I don't really, I can't answer what I don't know.
mhm.
I know nobody has any answers.
I don't know. I don't do Facebook, Mrs. Mayor. I don't. So if it was there, I don't know.
I don't normally neither, but I sure felt everything that hit the Facebook that day
I could
was
imagine.
directed at council big time. Okay. No unfinished business?
Nope.
Oh, so did we decide we're
What
gonna
end
go
up-
around? Sorry, is that a good idea?
Yes, we'll bring it back to our next public works.
Okay,
session.
okay, yeah, so we can discuss the flow, okay. We've got it
Okay,
then.
where is that? Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor McGinnis. Where council deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council from September 26th to October 10th, 2023, be read a first, second, and third time passed and numbered 2023-41, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Next. What time is it?
8:02.
Moved by Councillor McGinnis, second by Councillor Clark, that this meeting be adjourned at 8:02 PM. All in favor? Carry.
That's nice talking. Who's now starting to think they're CAO slowing us down?
There. Meeting adjourned.
Okay. Now starting to think